We are going to talk about monitoring. This is obviously the demo version. This is what you get in real life. What do? We make plugins for vRealize operations. Who uses vRealize operations? Okay. A few people, all right. The rest is going to test. So we work with VMware. We are a startup, an American startup. VMware has participation in the company. We make all the plugins that are third-party for VMware. I'll talk a bit in detail in a moment, and I'll give you a little demo. So it's all about extending the visibility, seeing what is happening in your VMware environment, in your data center, to be able to proactively monitor and predict what is going to happen. So an example, because this is slideware, I have a customer in London. They installed around Christmas last year the management packs for Cisco networking, Cisco UCS and NetApp storage. And in April, when I was visiting, my friend there was very happy because he received an error that a GBIC was failing on a Cisco switch, and he was very happy because the networking department had not seen it yet, and he could immediately see what UCS server, what ESX server was connected on that port and move them away. Okay? So we work across the entire stack. We have plugins for storage, networking, compute, right up to applications like SAP. I have a few data sheets here. If you're interested, we also have a booth there, of course. So we work at all these levels, and of course we work together with the VMware layer. So these are some of the packages that we have. Like NetApp storage, F5 Big IP. We have an Argos connection pack. We just launched a Docker pack and an HPE 3-part storage plugin. You see on this slide that we have arranged them in suites. So you can buy these individually, or you can buy a suite. So for example, if you bought from VMware vRealize Advanced with vRealize Operations Advanced, you can buy an advanced suite from us and use all these plugins unlimited. So for example, if you have VROps for 20 CPUs, you buy 20 CPUs and you can use it unlimited. I can talk to you in more detail about that if you want to. So the first use case is to use proactive monitoring. So what we do technically is we never install agents, no agents. We always talk to an API. So for example, NetApp, we talk to the API services. Cisco networking, we talk directly to the switches, and we get the data out and into VROps. And then it's normal VROps, nothing special. We add a few dashboards that we create, because dashboards is always a bit difficult. And we also detect the relationships. We have a relationship engine, so we can tell you this VM is running on this data store, connected on this NetApp volume through this Cisco switch and so on. So that allows us to do proactive monitoring. We have smart alerts built in also. So, and you are ensured that you only see the data that you need. If you click on a VM, you only see the Cisco network it's connected to, not the whole of your network. Okay? Root cause analysis and resolution, of course, we use the predictive analysis in VROps, so every data that we read becomes an object and metrics in VROps. So all those metrics go through the normal VROps treatment, so after 3 cycles, VROps knows what the normal behavior is of the parameter, and we are able to predict how this parameter goes outside of its normal boundary. Okay? Oh, sorry. Network security is important. I have my pop-up. sorry. And hybrid cloud, this is very interesting. Lately we have made a few packs for things like Amazon RDS, Amazon Aurora, Microsoft Azure, so that from VROps you can monitor everything, your VMware environment on-premise, but also your databases in the cloud, and you can compare them. I will show you. Okay, demo, little demo. Let's see. Exit this one, go to my Chrome, here we are. So I know it's very small. If you want more details, come closer, or I can show you in the booth too. So first of all, this is VROps 6.6. So you see in solutions, I have my adapters installed. If I look, for example, to the Microsoft SQL Server adapter, you see that I have 2 instances connected. I just provide credentials and an endpoint, and I am collecting data. All right. We detect the relationships. So if you go in VROps to environment, and if you know VROps a bit, you know that you have your inventory trees from vSphere, hosts and clusters, networking and so on. But now you also have inventory trees like Amazon RDS, Cisco networking that we built. So for example, for Cisco UCS here, for my servers, you will see I have an environment and I have a chassis 1 here. So you see everything VROps is available for that object chassis, and I see that there are 2 slots, a lot of power and fan modules, and then you see immediately that I have 2 blades here with the ESX servers connected. You see immediately this is my ESX server, and it is running on this blade UCS1. So you can look at the data here. You can go to all metrics, for example, and see all the metrics that we connect for a UCS blade. So for example, general, is it powered on? Not very interesting. Memory unit. So what memory is in there? What is the temperature of my blade? I can see that in VROps now. But this is all just the data. As I said, we also make a few dashboards. A few dashboards that come out of the box with the system. So, and for every solution, like Cisco networking, I have a few dashboards out of the box, overview and detailed ones. So for example, Cisco networking overview gives me a heat map of, I have only 1 switch in my lab, Nexus 5000, with all the ports in another heat map, and if I click on the switch, now it becomes interesting. Takes a little while, because let me make that bigger for you. You see now that I have also, when I click on the switch, a little topology map. This is my 5000 switch, and you see that it's connected to 2 top-of-rack switches in the UCS environment. So you can immediately follow the complete path. Okay. Another example. This one I like in Microsoft SQL, because I use it to scare DBAs, scare database administrators. It's the query analysis. When we install a test, you see I have 2 SQL Service instances here. When I click the second one, you see on the right a widget with my slowest queries, and you see this is a very slow query. It took 29 seconds to complete, and when you click on it, you actually see the SQL query that ran it. So you see if you have bad programmers in the company, and some metrics about it. But the same thing we have for Oracle, the same for progress, all Windows have it. Now, these are all details. Another one that I like a lot about SQL Server is in details. I love this one. This is very useful for any company because it shows you, well, this one has no issues. Let's take the other one. Yeah, this one has an issue. So I click my SQL Server, I see the relationships of this object, so I see this SQL Server is linked to those top of rack switches, to this VM, to this UCS server. You see it all in one little widget, and then here you see everything SQL Server, and here you see everything VM. So here you see the SQL Server has an error that you have a high number of queries that end in deadlock. It's not very good. You see here, I need to make it a bit bigger. That's better. Somebody resized mine. So you see the health is okay. The health has been okay for the last 6 hours for SQL. And you see some performance metrics like SQL thinks that it uses 10% of CPU, okay? And the disk throughput. On the VM side, the VM this SQL is running on has high CPU stress. So you know that there's a problem there. It's still okay, it's still in green, but you see that the CPU usage on the VM is 68%. Okay? So immediately you have an overview, how is the database, how is the VM underneath. And then of course, since it's purely VROps, you can make your own overview. So let's take one, maybe this one. Oh, maybe not. This is not a good one. I like this one. I told you before that we now also make cloud packs. So this is what a lot of companies are facing now. You have your VMware environment. For some reasons internally you have some databases that run in the cloud now. At Amazon, for example, here I can compare both in VROps. So for example, I can say I have a Postgres instance here. You see it has an internal IP, so it's running internally. It's fine. And on the right hand side, I have all my databases running in the cloud. So here is my Postgres on Amazon RDS, and you can compare. You see the object relationships. You see that this one is running on Amazon US East Zone 1, and you see that this one is running on the VM Postgres Prod. And of course you can add parameters, key performance indicators that you want to make visible. Okay. Questions? Anything you want to see? Come on. I have gifts for the best question up here. Good. I need to come closer. Yes, Oracle. Let me show you quickly. So Oracle, we have two ways of connecting. Either we connect to Oracle Enterprise Manager and get everything out of there, but we get more metrics if we go directly to the Oracle instance, Oracle DB. So, for example, here, this is my IOPS. This is my Oracle production internally, and if I click it, you immediately sees it immediately knows on which VM I'm running, Oracle Prod, and my IOPS for the database, virtual machine. And I have, for example, the same query analysis on Oracle queries. It looks a bit different. I have a heat map of my queries here, and this one is yellow. Oops, I need to select an instance first. So, and then you see this is query number 7 I selected, and you can see the C code very text